Hello students, we are starting with a recap of chapter 1 of variation in psychological attribute. Let's begin. So the fundamental context which comes here is individual differences which can come into 1 markers, situationism and psychological assessment. So individual differences are technically the physical, emotional and behavioral differences between the individuals. Situationism is a theory which says that every person acts according to the situation or circumstances and it can change their behavior according to the external factors. Psychological assessment is a measurement of psychological attribute of an individual. Two types of psychological assessment comes in this: formal assessment and informal assessment. Informal assessment is objective, standardized like psychometric tests, and in informal it can vary, has a subjective interpretation like interview, case study, etc. So basically in that assessors might have a different results in different things. Next, we are coming to the key psychological attributes. There are 5 definitions which can come in the differentiation as well as 1 marker or the MCQs, etc. So, intelligence, aptitude, interest, personality, and values. Now, intelligence is global capacity to understand the world, think rationally, and use resources effectively. Individual underlying potential for acquiring new skills is what we call aptitude. It is different from interest, which is individual preferences in engaging in one or more specific activities. Now, the contrast can come between aptitude and interest, or the three of them: intelligence, aptitude, and interest. You should write this clearly. Then the personality, which is the enduring characteristics which makes person different from each other, and the value is enduring beliefs which are about the ideal mode of behavior in which a person is guided by his value system and judges other people by the same value system. For example, if he says I like honesty, he will be honest and will be actually judging people whether they are honest or not. On the basis of that, he will allow people in his life. Next, we are coming to the methods of psychological assessment. This can come into 3 to 5 markers or individual questions. There are these. First is psychological test, which is objective and standardized measured. Okay. Second is interview, one-on-one interviews. Third is case study, which is in-depth study of individual in psychological attributes. Fourth is observation, which is systematic, organized and objective to record behavioral patterns. Okay? And fifth is self-report, where the person actually provides information about themselves. So many of the psychological tests will come into self-report, where the person can manipulate answers according to the social desirability factor as well. This will come later. So the question can come, what are the limitation of self-report? You can write in that the person can change his or her answer according to the social desirability accordingly. Okay, next we are coming to the main theories part. So the two approaches, this part is the most important part of the chapter. The two approaches of the intelligence. First is psychometric approach and second is information processing approach. Now, what is the difference between two of them? You have to understand it very, very clearly and have to write it very, very clearly. Psychometric approach is considers intelligence as aggregate of abilities. Okay? It focuses on structure of intelligence and single cognitive abilities. Now you have to understand that psychometric approach is thinking intelligence as a structure. Okay? So this thing will take all the cognitive abilities, all the things which our brain is functioning together as a single index: attention, perception, memory, reasoning, everything together, and will form a structure of intelligence. Whereas in information processing approach, we describe that how people use their problem solving skills, basically how they are using their intelligence. Okay, so it focuses on how intelligent person acts. This is focusing on the structure, and this is focusing on how the intelligent person acts, studying the cognitive functions. Here in psychometric approach, there are 5 theories, which is unifactor, which is given by Bennett, two factor Spearman, primary mental abilities, which is given by Thurstone, hierarchical model of Jensen, which is hierarchical model of intelligence, which is given by Jensen, and structure of intellect model, which is given by Guilford. It's very important to remember the names of the theory and who has given them, please. Okay, and in information processing approach, we are going with the triarchic theory, which is given by Sternberg, past model, which is given by Das and Naglieri, and multiple intelligence, which is given by Gardner. Though multiple intelligence is considered as an individual theory, but still, for the sake of it, we will take it here. Okay, so let's understand the theories one by one. We are understanding the fundamental components and organization of human intelligence in psychometric theories of intelligence. First, it's unifactor, which is given by Alfred Bennett, proposed that the intelligence is single general ability. It has only one general ability on which we are differentiating more intelligent people from less intelligent individuals. Okay? So they said that there is only one common set of abilities which is solving all your various problems. This was the first theory given by Bennett. Second comes two-factor theory, which is given by Charles Spearman. He said no, there are two factors, which is general factor and specific factor, G factor and S factor. So what G factor is doing is mental operations which are common to all, like reasoning, problem solving, etc. And S factor is doing specific to the particular task or domain, like your musical ability, athletic ability, dancing ability, etc. Artistic abilities can be anything. Something special talent which a person has will go into S factor, whereas the common things which every person can do will go into G factor. Next theory which comes is theory of primary mental abilities. Okay, this was given by Louis Thurstone. Louis Thurstone said that there are 7 primary mental abilities. Now, very carefully listen to this, that there are 2 theories which will contradict in this, which will create confusion. This theory is talking about mental abilities, not intelligences. The Gardner theory, which we will study later, which we will recap later, it is talking about intelligences. This is telling about abilities. Okay, so it is saying that there are 7 distinct and relatively independent primary abilities. Okay, first is verbal comprehension, understanding words and ideas. Numerical abilities, which is used in maths, calculation, accuracy, etc. Spatial reason, which is used in visualizing patterns and form. Perceptual speed, for perceiving details. Word fluency, which is generating fluently words, and memory, recalling information. Inductive reasoning, which is for the general rules and facts. So as you can see, these are all cognitive abilities, all your mental processes. There is no specific intelligence in this. These are all part of intelligence. Okay, next we are coming to hierarchical model of intelligence given by Arthur Jensen. He said that intelligence operates on 2 levels. Level 1 is associative learning, which is basic rote learning and memory. Basically, whatever your input is, the output will be equal or similar to it. Output is equal to input. Check whatever information you are getting, the same output you will be getting. For example, if you are memorizing your national anthem, the national anthem will come out exactly as you memorized it from the childhood. Okay? Level 2 is cognitive competence, which involves higher order skills. Now, whatever input you are getting, you will transform it because of the different information you already have, your thinking, your memorization, your different concept learning. your problem solving skills. So basically the higher order skills will be involved in that. So output will be more than input in this. Okay. Next we are coming to structure of intellect model given by J.P. Guilford. इन्होंने क्या बोला है? There are 3 dimensions in which 180 cells in across we say 3 dimensions, which is, let's start with contents, then operation, then products. Content is simply the information you are getting is content. Okay? It can be from any sensory organ. It can be visual, it can be auditory, semantic, behavior, it can be anything. So let's say you are listening and watching this video. This is content. Okay. Then comes operation. Operation is cognitive processes. Now, if you remember the concepts, you are using them, you are memorizing them, you are transferring them in your brain. That is operation. Using cognition, memory, evaluation, etc. That is your cognitive process. That is operation. Simple. And then you will go write that in your exams. That will be product. Okay? In which your information is processed and unit class relations, etc. So you can write these things as well, explaining each one of them, but that's a basic thing. We are getting the information, we are processing that information, and we are producing the product out of it. Okay, next we are starting with the information processing theories. First in this comes Sternberg's triarchic theory of intelligence. Triarchic theory of intelligence, in which Sternberg said that ability to adapt, shape, and select environment to accomplish one goals. He said that there are 3 types of intelligence, which is componential, also called analytical, experiential, which is also called creative, and contextual, which is also called practical. Okay, so first let's say componential. Componential is knowledge based. Whatever you study in school, the information you are getting, that goes in componential. And how you are able to use it, that goes in componential. Basically, it has 3 components: knowledge acquisition, meta components, okay, meta components, and performance components. Simple: knowledge acquisition, the information you are getting. Meta components is the processing of that information, the planning, how will you be using that information, and the performance component is when you finally use that information into something planned. For example, you're getting the information from this video, you're processing it, and then you will go and write your paper. That is performance component. You can draw a flowchart like this. It will help examiner to know that you know your content. Okay, next, second type of intelligence is experiential, creative. Basically, this is experience based. The experience people have, and they creatively use that experience for solving the novel problems. Okay? For example, let's say, take a simple example. If a person says that I want a 5-year experienced manager, so this is what they are going for. They are going for a person who has experience and can solve their problems, which a newbie can't. Okay? Next, we are coming for contextual, which is practical intelligence. Basically, you can say this smartness. Okay? You can use the words if you want. Componential is basically knowledge based, experiential is basically wisdom based, and contextual is basically smartness. Okay, so in this contextual or practical intelligence, what we are doing is how you are dealing with the environment demands, okay, how you are adapting to it, how you are selecting it, how you are shaping it. So people who are high in contextual intelligence are able to adapt into any situations very easily, and they are able to shape the situations as well according to them. Okay, the thoughts can come according to that. Okay, so we have to be very careful. If the case study based question comes, they can come from this theory specifically. Next, we are coming to past model of intelligence. Past model of intelligence is developed by J.P. Das, Jack Miller, and K.B. Okay, this intelligence model suggests that all the interdependent neurological system or functional unit of the brain. So there are 3 stages in that. Okay, first is arousal attention, stands for the A. Arousal attention, you are getting any kind of information. A certain level of arousal is required to acquire that information. Optimum level of required attention is focus is required. Second, that is the double S, simultaneous and successive processing. Simultaneous processing is when you are integrating different concepts into a meaningful pattern. Okay, and successive processing is when you remember the information serially, 1 2 3 4 A B C D, that is successive processing. Simultaneous is you are integrating different concepts into a meaningful patterns, like studying different subjects and understanding them together, okay, by relating each other with them. Okay, the next is planning. Last, once you have understood it, once it is processed, the planning information allows to take the action for the course of action which you have planned for the information. So you can implement them and evaluate their effectiveness, etc. So this is the past model. I hope it is understood till here. Next, we are coming to Gardner's theory of multiple intelligences. This is one of the most important topic in this chapter because the questions definitely comes from this. It's an independent theory. So Gardner said that there are many types of intelligence, not just one. They are independent intelligence. There are 7: linguistic, logical, mathematics, spatial, musical, bodily kinesthetic, intrapersonal, and naturalistic. So there are 8 multiple intelligences. Linguistic is for the language, okay, how good you are able to use any kind of language, like poets and writers and etc. Logical mathematical is for solving mathematical problem logically and critically analytical, like scientists, Nobel Prize winners, etc. Spatial is ability to use, form, transform mental images and patterns, like an artist or a pilot, etc. Okay? Next is musical, ability to produce musical rhythms and patterns, obviously, musical, singers, etc. Bodily kinesthetic, using the whole or the parts of the body flexibly, like dancers, actors, etc. Interpersonal, ability to understand other people's motives. Intrapersonal, to understand our motives. So interpersonal example can go psychologists, counselors, and intrapersonal philosophers and spiritual leaders, etc. And last is naturalistic, which is identify and discriminate amongst the features of natural world, like flora and fauna, animals, and the seasons and etc. Okay, so hunter gatherers, आपके botanist, these people can come into this example. Okay, another next important question which can come is nature versus nurture. What is the relation, interplay of nature and nurture in the intelligence? How we will decide that which will be affecting more an individual? So a study was done on adopted children and twins. Okay, so this is the result. This is a correlation. It was identified that identical twins reared together had a 0.9 correlation. Identical twins apart has 0.72, fraternal together 0.6, siblings together 0.5, and siblings apart 0.25. Main conclusion which they get was that adopted children, when they were small, they were more like their biological parents, and as they grow up, their intelligences resembled more to their adoptive parents. This was the first conclusion. And the second conclusion which came was children from disadvantaged home, when adopted into higher social status, when they went into good homes, their intelligence increased. Whereas when the children from lower intelligence went to the good families, vice versa happened. Okay? When the from good families went to the lower economics, their intelligence decreased. So basically what they are trying to say here is that when children are small, they will rather have their biological parents' intelligence, and as they grow up, their nurture takes place or environment take place, in what kind of environment they are living, that will be more telling about their uh, intelligence. So next we are coming to the origin of measuring intelligence. Now again very important question. Okay, intelligence कहाँ से, where it started from? So Alfred Binet and Theodore Simon started it. They gave the concept of mental age, chronological age, CA, and intelligence quotient. So the intelligent quotient concept was given by William Stone. Please be very careful. The concept of intelligence quotient was given by William Stone, not by Bennett. Please be very careful about that. And the formula was MA upon CA into 100. Okay. Next we are coming to this question. Again, a very high chances of coming till 6 marker. Okay, the curve of intelligence, the bell curve. It can ask you what is the curve, what is the bell curve means, what is the frequency, divide them, anything and everything can come in this. So please prepare this very well. The distribution, this is the bell curve. Okay, mean score is 100, normal intelligence ranges from 90 to 110, and intellectual disability goes from below 70, intellectual gifted goes above 130. So as you can see, there is a range from 70 to 0. Intelligence will never touch 0, please remember that. So from 70 and below, there are 4 ID ranges, which is mild, moderate, severe, and profound. Okay, and this is from 90 to 110 is average, and above 130, which is gifted. This is the table. You can see the population in this. As you can see, most of the people lies in the average, that is 50% of the population rise from 90 to 110. Okay, high average 16.1, same as low average 16.1. Superior is 6.7, same as borderline 6.7, and very superior is 2.2, and intellectually disabled, which is below 70, is also 2.2. Okay, so now we are coming to the extremes of intelligence. Intelligence disability, that is IQ less than 70. Please remember this. These ranges are very important. They have a problem in intellectual functioning, adaptive behavior, and this starts from before age of 18. Okay, so first is mild, which is from 70 to 55. They can live comparatively independently once trained. Moderate from 55 to 40, they require supervision some of the time, but they can be trained and they can live. These people can hold jobs very easily. ठीक है, इनको थोड़ी सी प्रॉब्लम होगी. Severe from 40 to 25 need significant support, obviously, and profound, they require constant support. So these ranges are very important. Then comes intellectual giftedness, which is above 130. They have a combination of high ability, high creativity, and high commitment. Logical and creative thinking is high. High speed information processing, intrinsic motion, independent and conformist thinking. So these characteristics can be asked. Next, we are coming to the types of intelligence test. There are 3 types of intelligence test. Individual versus group test. Simple. Individual is done on one-on-one, and group test is done on many people together. Okay? So individual helps you create the rapport and all. Verbal versus non-verbal versus performance. So verbal test relies on the language skills. This is very important. This question can come. Verbal test is a test where literacy is required. Okay? Anything word related, either speaking or writing, will come in verbal, but literary skills are required in that. MMPI is one of the examples. You can take any psychometric test where it is written in English or Hindi. Non-verbal, based on image and illustration, okay, it does not require literacy. Any person from any part of the world can do it, like Raven's progressive matrix test. Third comes performance test, which uses objects. So this is the difference. Language is required here, image and illustration is required here, and objects are required here. Like core proc test, it does not again require literacy. Okay, any person can do this. Third type is culture fair versus culture biased. Culture fair aims to see, culture fair is a test, are the tests which can be done in any culture whatsoever. Okay, it doesn't matter it is done in India or America. Okay, but culture biased are based on which culture they are made in. Okay, so the question can come here. Verbal test mostly comes in cultural bias test, whereas non-verbal and performance test comes in culture fair test. So this question can come. Okay, next we are coming to intelligence in a cultural context. This question again very important. Okay, the psychologists here are Vygotsky and Sternberg. They said that intelligence is a product of culture. Define two intelligences, types of intelligence, that is technological intelligence, which is individualistic in nature, and integral intelligence, which is collective in nature. Technological intelligence is common in Western societies, okay, Western countries, which favors individualistic cultures more. So their purpose is making person independent, grow as fast as they can, but they are not literally supporting that take this society, family, and everyone with you. Okay, so their child rearing practices are skills of generalization, abstraction, etc. Whereas in integral intelligence, which is common in Eastern collective like Indian society, and the concept of buddhi comes here, emphasizes on social world, includes cognitive, social, and emotional competence. It is including cognitive as well as non-cognitive aspects of intelligence. There are four facets which are identified by J.P. Das in buddhi, that is cognitive capacity, again these things, okay, social competence, how the person is dealing with the society, family, etc., and emotional competence, how person is able to maintain his emotions and how is their intra and interpersonal emotions, their EQ, and entrepreneurial competence, how they are doing hard work and how they are doing well in their work. Okay, next we are coming to emotional intelligence. Solvay and Mayer gave the concepts of emotional intelligence, which is feeling side of emotions, feeling side of intelligence. Okay, accurately appraising, expressing, regulating emotions of oneself and others. Basically, emotionally intelligent person is a person who is able to perceive, handle, and control their emotions as well as others' emotions. Okay, so they can perceive, handle, control, use, guide to solve problems, powerful influence, and regulate for harmony and peace. Next questions which come is very common questions. What is the difference? What is the relation between creativity and intelligence? Okay, so creativity with intelligence has a positive relationship. Please be careful. The word here is positive relationship, not proportional relationship, because it's not proportional, it's positive. How? We will see. Terman researched in 1920. He said that it is found that it's not necessary that if a person has a high IQ, then he or she will also have high creativity. Okay, high creativity can also be found in average intelligence child. Okay, so what is necessary in this is it is only necessary to have average intelligence to have creativity. That's why it is a positive relationship. If you have high creativity, you can at the same have an average intelligence or high intelligence. It can be anything, but at least average intelligence should be there. Now the question can come, can intellectual deficient person also have creativity, high creativity? The answer will be no. If the IQ is below 70, the creativity might not be so high in that person. Might be a very little bit, because creativity also needs some intelligence to connect the previous information. But if that person is not able to understand the information, he might not able to produce the results as well. So requires minimum ability to acquire information, capacity to comprehend, retain, and retrieve. That's why average intelligence is needed. Okay? So intelligence is required for the creativity. Beyond that, intelligence does not correlate with the creativity. That's why it's a positive relationship. Next, we are coming to aptitude and creativity. Aptitude is a potential or special ability to acquire a specific skill after training. Sorry, after training. Okay? And creativity is acquiring or producing something new, unique, original. It is linked to the divergent thinking. Okay, the last question which can come is types of intelligent test using creativity and intelligence. Creativity tests are mostly open-ended questions and use divergent thinking. Okay? So means if I am saying asking you what uses can you do from a paper cup, so you can give me many answers to that. You can use it as a water holder, ठीक है, पानी आप रख सकते हैं उसमें, पेन रख सकते हैं, ठीक है, you can use it create some hat or something, anything. So that is divergent thinking. Okay, so what is their features? Open ended, permit person to think in the different answers to the problems, ठीक है. Creativity involves divergent thinking, produces variety of ideas and new relationship between unseemingly related abilities. Sorry. Intelligence test, close-ended, use convergent thinking. What is convergent thinking? Means many factors coming to one. That is convergent thinking. If I say 2 plus 3 is equal to, all of you will say 5. That is convergent thinking. You cannot say any other answer in that. So the right solution to the problem is only one. That's why they are close-ended. Using the ability, memory, logical reasoning, accuracy, perceptual abilities, etc. Okay, with this we are coming to the end of the chapter. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, please comment down below.